I wanted to do this video on the power of the human touch. And what makes it so profound and so uh, prolific is I read an article several years ago in Yahoo. And Yahoo, they did a study on the human touch. And people who are in their families were 4 times to 1 to succeed. People who were getting hugs, people who were getting handshakes, people who maybe from family members who were getting, uh, 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 just the individual touch, and it's a very. I don't think we really realize how much just the human touch, just the showing of love, and the affirmation of what it can really do for an individual. The power of the human touch and its profound effects upon both the mental and the physical well-being. It acts as a powerful tool for communication, stress reduction, and social bonding. On the other hand, there's nothing worse. Like if you're, let's just say hypothetically speaking, you coming into your house and you're a married couple, and that mate doesn't, you go to hug them and they don't respond to you. Or even your children, especially this happens with a lot of men who don't show any kind of affection toward their children. Uh, I had a son. Unfortunately, my son passed away. But the thing I really miss about that part about him is the fact that I could just walk up to him and hug him and kiss him just like I would my daughter. And so I don't have any biological sisters, but my dad, what he would used to do is to walk up to us and hug us, and he would, we would go see him. Him and my mom and dad were married for 57 years, and so whenever we see each other, we would greet each other with a hug and a kiss. Um, that's the same way it is that I would do my son, and I do the same thing with my daughter. The the information, the and how your friends will be more inspired, the social bonding that you have, uh, that you can have, because there's nothing worse. We're living in a oh, a non-affectionate, communicable society nowadays. Okay, but let's go back over what it does do. It releases the touch will release hormones like oxytocin, which lowers stress, reduces anxiety, and it builds trust. On a physical level, it lowers your heart rate and blood pressure to immune system, and it even uh, relieves. Uh, it'll relieve mental stress and all those things like that. Okay, the touch triggers. It's called a oxytocin, oxytocin. Okay, and it's often called the love hormone, which lowers your cortisol and the stress hormones. On the other hand, people who are used to, when you see them, they're used to, the stress level just goes down. And the fact that, okay, you know what, this person really cares about me. Okay, this person loves me if it's a family member. And I would like to say this about the male gender in particular. The male gender, because as we are taught, we shouldn't show any emotions, we shouldn't show any affections. That's so wrong. And so in my persuasive argument with you, I would like to say, let's combat this, let's change this. Okay. It combats depression and anxiety. There is nothing better that when you just, especially but sometimes when you go to church, I know a lot of times because of the church, all of us as men, we greet one another with a hug. Even the Bible says this here. It says, greet one another with a holy kiss. So God saw it when it comes down to the Bible. Hey, listen, this is what it can do for you. This is what it can do for you. Okay. It combats depression and anxiety. Okay. And On the other hand, you just feel, I'd rather go around this person than that person. Even if it's a family member, I'd rather go around that uncle as opposed to that uncle. You can have children. I'd rather go around my daughter over here as opposed to that daughter over there. Okay? It strengthens your social bonds. My friends that are closer to me as I've gotten older, and we all experience this. This is the one thing we all experience. I always hug him, and we all hug each other. And I say, I love you. That is so important because it's people that have been with you for 30, 40. I have friendships now for 50 years. I'll be 65 November 10th. And so those friendships that have been so important to me over the 50-year period, I love them. My friends that understand me understand how much that just me seeing them and touching them, shaking their hand, hugging them, how much that means to me. It improves your mental health. On the other hand, I remember going through a divorce years ago and having people who would just grab me and say, hey, I'm okay with you. It's okay. I'm with you. And just hugging me and just saying, hey, you're not going to have to go through this by yourself. That increases your mental strength. That increases your mental strength and the ability that you can go on, you can keep going further. Okay? In marriages, one of the things that attracts women to a man is the fact that can he just hold my hand? Because it's a sign of safety to a woman. Okay? The human touch, as I alluded to you earlier, it lowers your heart rate. Nothing worse than being stressed out over somebody who you don't know if they love you, you can't touch them, okay? The last thing I'm going to tell you, the boosting of social bonds, and this is what I like to say to you. This is how society should regulate themselves and how they should go on. Let's greet one another. Let's give each other a human touch because it gives everybody the opportunity to succeed 4 times more than the other people who don't. Thank you.